Morning, everyone. This is Ryan Ender with your Tuesday, October 1st morning wake-up call. Yesterday's big news was to see quarterly stocks in corn down 83 million bushels lower than expected. Report now is likely to lower carryout on the upcoming October 11th report. So with trade already knowing that that is likely to lower carryout, we would say that while the quarterly stocks may not continue a rally, it should be able to supply regular support right up to that October 11th normal supply demand report that we get every month. An interesting look here, some early numbers from analysts here suggest that with exports actually slightly on the poor side for corn, and ethanol running about a moderate pace. The expectation was that the lower total stocks, the lower total corn on hand came from corn feeding being up 29.4%. That's quite the amazing number given that we are running lower cattle numbers this year than last year. So that portion of feeding makes a feeding number of plus 29.4% very impressive. So we'll see what we get on that October 11th report for corn, see if the USDA makes any other changes to adjust carryout, but should be moved lower thanks to this quarterly stocks report. Corn harvest is at 21% as of Sunday night. So that now means these next 2, 3, 4 weeks would be the core of harvest here going forward. And we do have a very clear 10-day forecast again this morning. All weather models are actually suggesting almost 100% dry conditions for all areas that want to have combines moving. Switching over to the beans, quarterly stocks was not that big of a report for this market. They were down 9 million bushels lower than expectations. So that report's not offering too much influence. With beans having a relative lack of things to talk about right now, attention is already turning to South American weather. So we will mention that there were some rains added for both Brazil and Argentina in the morning 6 to 10 day maps. So that might be providing some of the overnight weakness, and that could spill over into the day session as well. We also want to mention in beans, funds are down to 40% of record shorts, so certainly a lower number, but at 40% of shorts, that's not a number we would consider flat. Let's also mention that in corn, they're at 37%. So same story there. Lower number, but not a number we would consider flat. Bean harvest as of Sunday night stood at 26%. Over in the week, quick conversation there. Quarterly stocks, not that big of a concern. The dryness is more of a concern. While winter wheat planting is at 39%, which is still 1% ahead of the 5-year average, there are a few analysts talking that we may lose 10 to 15% of acreage if we don't see some rains out in the plains here. That might be a little bit early to get that excited about that issue, but we will mention that talk is out there. Now, lastly, switching over to cattle. Last week's average cash trade was almost dead on what we would have expected. It was up $1.99. Again, that's right around where we would estimate. Box beef fell to an 8-month low, hit it exactly on Thursday. Found almost no news on Friday and saw a one-day bounce yesterday. Choice was up 139, Select was up 245. So a nice bounce in box beef. Much more is obviously needed to move ourselves away from 8-month lows. And to start this week, estimated gross packer profits is negative 13 cents. That is the lowest starting gross profit level for packers this entire year. So unless box beef turns around and puts together an amazing bounce, it's very difficult to assume packers paying higher cash when at this current math, they would be better to turn off the lights and shut the doors. So we'll mention also that the show list was neutral at plus 600, so no major influence there. With this low packer profits, we would definitely say it's unlikely we're going to get an early cash bid. So today's focus is likely to be mostly on the morning box beef to see if we can put a second day of a bounce in that market there. So that's what we have. If you have any questions here, always call me directly at 815-578-6159 and continue tuning in to Morning Wake Up Calls.